Hi there, welcome to Help Solve the Case. My name's Christine Burke, retired police detective and sergeant, law enforcement expert witness, and forensic genetic genealogist. Today, we are going through the police report, the initial investigation in the Jared Bridegan case. If you're not familiar with it, currently his ex-wife, her new husband, and another gentleman are charged or awaiting trial in this case, and we want to see what's happened. Now, we know that they're innocent until proven guilty, but we're working through what the police have and what we're going to talk about, what we think they might show at court, how they might defend it, all things criminal justice, so we can learn from that and learn more about these court cases so that we can do better. I appreciate you being here. I would love it if you would like, subscribe, and share, because my main goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do more with my forensic genetic genealogy services for our unidentified human remains cases and our law enforcement through my, there it is, enduring service program. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. We're continuing on supplement 47, talking about the case, and it is very scanned in, very blurry, so I will do my best. Now, this talks about the Saldana interview, okay, and this is Detective Lamont. He seems to be, if you haven't watched the other videos, he seems to be the second detective in charge, right? He's after the first detective, Detective Johns, who is reportedly the lead detective. All right, we have Yvonne Santiago here again. We've got number, is it 48 again? Nope, 48. And we've got victims information from Chiropractic. And we had heard earlier, we've got some documents here, Revolution Chiropractic, that the defendant, I don't remember if he had actually gone on that day, but they had a pretty frequent schedule within the family going to the chiropractor. Now, it says here on Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, and our incident happened the evening of February 16th, 2022. At 12:17 hours, Detective Johns and Detective Lamont responded to Revolution Chiropractic and met with Dr. Cost. They reviewed the available camera footage, and you could not see out into the parking lot beyond the cars parked immediately in front of the business. A copy of the victim's account information, which provides dates of appointments and cancellations, reschedules, is scanned to this report as well as placed into property as evidence. There is no further information to add at this time. So why is the chiropractor important? Well, they're looking, when you have somebody that is killed, they're looking for motive, means, and opportunity. Why would this happen? So the prosecution, ultimately, the police are going to decide on their theory, and then the prosecution ultimately is going to decide on their theory. And we need to make sure, as a police officer, I believe so, Sergeant Burke says, that we have to make sure that we've explored all other options, right? When you need probable cause, you just need probable cause, not beyond a reasonable doubt. But I like leaving no gaps. So this is good. So they're going around and seeing what was going on. They talk about victimology, what was going on in his life at the time that could have led to this. Okay, supplement. I can't tell. Okay, 48. Victims information from chiropractic, 3 pages. 49. We've got Shane Jarman again. Okay, so we're probably dealing with some evidence, right? He seems to be our evidence guy. And what do we have here? We've got DVD with OSCR 360 pictures. We talked about that. They talked about how they had used that at the scene. So we've got some close-ups, some incident overviews here. Those would be things that you would want to account for, both to review as the prosecution, but also to review as the defense. You want to make sure that you have all the information available. So he talks about on March 1st, 2022 at 09:30 hours, he completed OSCR 360 pictures of the scene. So he did not do it day of. I know they took some photos and some things day of, but now they're coming back about maybe a little over 2 weeks later and doing it. And I don't know if that means he had to go back out to the scene and take pictures, or if it's some processing process within this OSCR 360, right? Because I would say from a defense side, why weren't they taken on the day of? What could be different? What could lead the jury astray taking it 14 or so days later, right? We talk about chain of custody and crime scene and all that. So I don't know. I'm not an evidence tech, so I'm not sure about that 360 thing. So I don't know whether he went back out there or what he did. Then he says on 3/3/2022, like maybe he's doing some stuff in the computer software. We don't know. At 1200 hours, he completed the map of the crime scene using Faro Zone 3D and the laser mapping system. I attached copies of the map to this report. I provided copies to the detective. So not clear exactly how that process works. And we've got the DVD. And this is good. He's putting property on here. Well, it's actually evidence because it's got the E. To me, property is like prisoner property or witness property. Evidence should be evidence, but he's writing property here. All right, supplement 50, Brian James Wallace. So he's got some film photos here from a USB drive, 4021 Palm Way, public storage videos, some more video, CDs, video of funeral. Okay. Why do they do that? Because sometimes perps show up. Either they can have a weird fascination with victims, like just in general, or if the motive is targeted, they sometimes want to see people suffering. It's just the nature of the beast, okay? We've got some, it looks like Tagaloo USB drive. Let's see what he says. On 3/1/22, Detective Burrow and I met with Detective Hernandez of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Hernandez is on the ESST FDLE task force and works in digital forensics. So I gathered before, just from knowing the area, it must be a small force, and this is good. So we've got the ATF guy working on the cell phone stuff, and now they've got part of the FDLE task force, someone from Orange County Sheriff's Office, which is down by Orlando, working in digital forensics. So they're pulling out the experts, okay, which is good because we've heard, like in Brian Koberger, we've heard in other cases when these smaller departments don't use, we're hearing it in the Nancy Guthrie case, when they don't use appropriate resources, all kinds of bad things can happen just from people saying you're an idiot to messing up cases. All right. So they're reaching out for help. So he gave Hernandez a USB flash drive with the 6 videos from the shooting. Hernandez created an FDLE report, which is attached to the supplement. Way to go, guys. Chain of custody. Warms my heart. Sarge is happy. On March 3rd, 2022, he placed the video surveillance from 4021 Palm Way into evidence. And at 10:45 hours, I'm assuming on the same day, Detective Lamont and he attended the decedent's funeral at the church. He wore a covert audio video recording device during the funeral. The date and time is notated on the recording, which was later placed into property as evidence. Public place, one party, police. At 13:32 hours, I met with Detective K. Green of the SJSO Digital Forensics Unit in reference to this case. At SJSO, I transferred a USB flash drive with 6 videos to Detective Green for video enhancement. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, that is St. St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Resident Ann Freudenthal advised a friend of her late husband's was able to download the home surveillance. After a review of the video, a recording from 2/16/22 exists from 1800 to 2100 hours. However, the camera is broken and nothing is viewable. Please, folks, just like the fire department says the thing, what is it, twice a year to check your smoke detectors, please, 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 on a monthly basis, or at least on a quarterly basis, check your cameras, because you don't want something horrible to happen. And that's the time you realize it's not working. It happens all too often, okay? He also deposited a CD-DVD with video from public storage. That's on Shutter Avenue. Okay, so we have this vehicle that appears to be, if you remember, over on, I'm doing it backwards for you guys, but over on Shutter Avenue, which would have then proceeded potentially, I'm assuming, towards the restaurant, and potentially, maybe, that's what they're thinking, followed the victim down as he returned the children. The suspicious blue truck referenced in previous supplements passed public storage on 2/16/22 at 18:52:10, heading westbound along Shutter Avenue. So it's going westbound this way. The video cannot be extracted at the time of viewing, however, was recorded on a city-issued iPhone, bonus, later downloaded onto a CD. But you know what? You need to get the original, because that could be a challenge, okay? A court challenge. On 3/10/22, I met with manager Caitlin at Taco Lu. In reference to this case, she gave him access to the restaurant's outdoor surveillance. He got a USB drive. After review, I observed the aforementioned blue truck heading eastbound on Beach Boulevard at the 6:25:34 mark. So that would be 18:25:34. If the camera's in sync. I also met with security supervisor Donnell Wright at Baptist Beach Medical Center. After review of the hospital cameras, I located no vehicle of interest from 1950 to 2000 hours. So they are tracking this blue truck, okay? And we've got the USB drive, okay. Public storage video, CD from original drop-off, video of funeral, Takaloo. Okay. Number 51, Alan Bernard Ford. We've got our car again, our victim's car. And now we're going to do advanced data recovery authorization form. I don't know if it's Burla or what, but they can pull the data out of the car. Okay, they hook it up and they pull it out. I requested data recovery through the JSO, that's the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit, on 3/4/2022 at approximately 10:30 hours via 94net. The requested data to be pulled from a 2018 Volkswagen Atlas located at the Jacks Beach property room. JSO advised they would process vehicle on 3/7. So you've got a computer thing that they plug in, and they, just like they extract everything off the phone, they extract everything off the car. If you remember from an earlier video when we were talking about the geofencing, not only does it pull, like, your car has stuff too. You'd be surprised. I mentioned check your thermostats, check your hot water heaters. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is sending information to people that you may not be aware of. Okay. That's our car. That's the form. I guess she had to sign the form because she's probably a co-owner. 52, Detective Lamont. Timeline. Iannello's timeline near the scene. Trying to think, who is Iannello? Trying to remember who Iannello is. Let's see what he says. On Friday, March 4th, 2021, at approximately 1900 hours, I made contact with Rebecca Elaine Iannello at her residence. This was made in reference to supplement blah, blah, blah. Oh, she was the one that saw the cars. Ainello advised she was returning home from 1969 Green Heron Point, the sanctuary, at approximately 1947 hours, which is like right there, in the timeline. She left the gate for the neighborhood and began heading south on Sanctuary Boulevard between 1955 hours to 2000 hours. As she turned eastbound on Jacksonville, she saw a dark-colored SUV with emergency lights flashing south of Jacksonville Drive on Sanctuary Boulevard. Ainello stated she saw a large, dark-colored vehicle, possibly an SUV or truck, backing up. Ainello did not see any vehicle between the SUV truck and the victim's black SUV. Ainello stated she felt the vehicle was an SUV or truck due to the height of the brake lights. This is with her son, right? That it was definitely a Ford, right? Ainello advised her 12-year-old son saw the unknown vehicle backing up. He advised the truck was dark in color and described it as a 4x4 like his father's truck. He stated it was a 2-door truck and not a 4-door like a crew cab. He also advised the truck appeared to be new. When asked why he thought it was new, he stated it did not have any stickers or markings. It is unknown if this vehicle is involved at this time. Ainello provided a detailed timeline as she drove that evening. The timeline has been scanned into this report and placed into property as evidence. Okay, so here we have that. Okay, so now we have Supplement 53, Brett Burrell, and we've got some recordings from OCSO Detective Peter Hernandez. That's Orange County. What were they working on? Don't remember what they were working on. We will see. Signed receipt form, chain of custody. Thumbs up. On Monday, March 7, 2022, at approximately 0930 hours, I met with Orange County Sheriff's Office Detective Peter Hernandez in the Jacksonville Beach Police Department's lobby. He gave me an open envelope that included a sealed envelope from Detective Corporal Brian Wallace and in clear plastic resealable bag labeled 220000517, which contained a blue and gray colored thumb drive, which had a white label with 220000517. I signed FDLE receipt form given to me by OCSO Detective Hernandez, scanned a copy, which I attached in his report. Good chain of custody. Due to Corporal Wallace not being at work, not knowing if he had already made a property entry for the sealed package of DVDs that I received from OCSO Detective Hernandez, I gave Detective Wallace's package to Detective Sergeant C.D. Young. Before placing the USB that OCSO Detective P. Hernandez gave me, I made a digital copy of the USB's contents and then placed the drive into the property room as evidence. Tuesday, March. So it sounds like they gave the USB to OCSO and they gave some CDs back with the disc, with the USB. Tuesday, March 8, 2022, I hid the USB's contents placed onto DVDs, which I placed in the property room along with the original FDLE receipt form into the property room as evidence. I'm not sure whose is what here. On Thursday, March 10, Detective Corporal B. Wallace and I began checking the residences for surveillance along Osceola Avenue, west of South Beach Parkway to America Avenue. Detective A. Ford was already on Osceola Avenue. I attempted to make contact, no answer, left a business card. They checked all the houses, went to Roberts Drive. White said his blank, but only had videos of him doing yard work. Due to Baptist Health having numerous offices in the area, Detective Corporal Wallace checked with the Baptist security to view the nearby areas while I continued to the storage bin. Met with manager Debbie Ray. Able to view the footage. Did not see any truck. So they are, at this point, focusing in on this truck. I'm guessing, they felt that this truck followed the victim. Not that someone was lying in wait, but that somebody followed. Two different theories here from where we started, or where I started, okay? I thought maybe somebody was hiding in the bushes. Remember, we heard different things about cars being parked in they call it the gore area where the stripes are. in the safety zone, whatever you want to call it. But now they're focusing on this truck. Okay. So we don't know. It says it had multiple front headlights, drive eastbound on 13th Avenue North. Okay. And maybe if we figure out what they're up to, we will map it. We can map it. Okay. Now we've got Lamont again, Detective Lamont. On March 7th at approximately 1500 hours, Kirsten Bridegan arrived at the Jacks Beach Police Station. She took possession of her spare key for her Chevy Suburban. The spare key was in the victim's vehicle at the time of the incident. Property item was number 29, contained a spare key to the Suburban and 2 spare house keys. Kirsten took possession of the Suburban key, and it contained a spare house key on the same key ring. A separate spare house key was collected at the time of the incident on a separate key ring. The separate spare house key has been placed back into property. Okay. Stephen Courier. Looks like we got some photos. On Monday, March 7th, JSO Computer Forensic Unit, Detective David Ostertag arrived at our police department. I escorted him to our property department so he could locate and disassemble the infotainment system from the victim's vehicle, from the car. Ostertag took the infotainment system from our property department in order to download the information using Burla Corporation software. I photographed the infotainment system, which was removed, the victim's vehicle. Then I scanned those photographs into this report. Detective Johns drove the victim's vehicle to our city garage so we could check underneath the victim's vehicle for any location tracking devices, which we, Detective Johns, Detective Lamont, Sergeant Young, and I didn't see any attached devices. I received a Google Geofence search warrant return. I forwarded the Google Geofence information to ATF Special Agent Mark Mutz so the ATF analyst could process the information. The ATF analyst advised the return Google Geofence information was AM time period, not PM as requested in the search warrant. Oopsie. So it says, so they didn't mess up the search warrant. Google apparently messed up. Also, I submitted a Google subscriber search warrant to ASA Christina Stifler, Google reference number blank, for the device ID's information for 20 minutes prior to the incident. So they're probably now, I'm assuming, guessing, they're going 20 minutes prior to for that truck. They're now moving to, because they didn't get anything in the area. Remember, they got the 2 sisters and one other guy and potentially the victim. So now they're going 20 minutes ahead to see it. Okay, so they going 20 minutes prior to the incident because of this truck. That's what I'm thinking. So they're wanting to see what happened right prior to the incident. We don't know what geofence area they're going to do, but now they're honing in on what happened before because they didn't catch anything at the time. Right now, that doesn't mean anything because remember, we talked about if the suspect did not have the cell phone in the geofence area, if you look at the circle where I am, if the phone is not in the geofence, it's not going to show up. So the suspect could have been there, but not the phone. Okay. So, she approved it, and then Judge Bass approved it, and they sent it through. And then on Wednesday, the 9th, they received the geofence information for Pablo Hamlet. If we remember, Pablo Hamlet is at the end of that Stetter Drive, okay, where this truck that they're focusing on backed in or whatever. So it says he gave it to the ATF analyst, which is Mutz, and then they submitted another Google fence warrant for Cradle Creek preservation. So they might be, moving south towards where the incident happened. And like I said, if this gets good, we'll map it. But right now we're just reading through them. He received on March 14th the search warrant return, which are the corrected time periods. Okay, so he sent that to Mark Mutz, and then on March 15th, they identified 3 device IDs for further identification. And this one is, I don't remember exactly where that Geofence was, if that was the 20-minute one. So we would have to plot this out. And if you want, I can plot this all out. Let's see what they get back. Okay. They identified 3 device IDs. The ASA approved it. That's the assistant state attorney. Because once you get the device IDs, then you have to go back to Google and get the person's information. And she approved the Google's Geofence warrant for Cradle Creek. Judge Floyd signed both. And we wait. Okay. Christopher Johns, 56, it looks like. DVD of CPT interview with A. Bridegan. We got a credit report for Kirsten and Jared, credit report for Mario and Shauna. Okay. On Friday, March 4th, 2022, Detective Johns and Detective Lamont met with UF, it's probably University of Florida Child Protection Team, I'm not sure, who interviewed L. Bridegan and A. Bridegan. Once the report is received from them, it will be submitted as evidence. A copy of the interview will be placed into custody. Monday, March 7th, investigator D. Fiore supplied credit reports for Jared, Kirsten, Shanna, and Mario. Nothing of note, but they were used to locate possible bank relationships. Detective Johnson and Detective Lamont took the victim's vehicle from the Jacks Beach Police Department property garage to the city garage, which is located in the same compound. The vehicle was placed on file in order to investigate the undercarriage. Nothing of note. Remember, they were looking for tracking devices. Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, subpoenas to Chase Bank and Citibank for Jared and Kirsten's records, as well as Shanna Gardner. Wednesday, March 9th, subpoenas to USAA, American Express, Chase Bank for Mario Fernandez and Shanna Gardner. Subpoenas to Community First Credit Union of Florida, Mayo Employees Credit Union for Jared. A subpoena to Community First Credit Union of Florida for Mario Saldana. No accounts were located at Community First Credit Union for Mario Fernandez Saldana. Thursday, March 10th, a subpoena was delivered to ViStar Credit Union for accounts related to Mario Saldana. Friday, March 11th, a search warrant for Ring doorbell footage was sent via email to ring.com. They are doing a great job of canvassing the neighborhood, says Sarge. All right, we've got Yvonne Santiago here. A screenshot of encrypted message. Ooh, what's that? On Monday, March 7th, 2022 at 09:46 hours, I contacted Farnborough Financials to inquire about a life insurance policy that is referenced in the victim's divorce from his ex-wife, Shanna Gardner. Now, didn't we hear that the attorneys said there wasn't life insurance? I spoke to Supervisor Jody Couchman, and she advised she would have to contact me back. At 13:59 hours, she sent me an email with the link to an encrypted message. In the message, she said the victim did not have an active life insurance policy at the time of his death. I asked her if she could tell when the policy he had was canceled, and she advised she could not provide any further information without a subpoena. I screenshot the message regarding him not having an active policy at the time of his death and scanned it to the report. Nothing further. Here we have Detective Lamont, and we got a computer here, victim's work computer, MacBook Pro. On Tuesday, March 8th, 2021, should be 2022, right? 22 case number. Typo. Typos are really bad, Jacks Beach. Just saying. At approximately 16:30 hours, a search warrant was requested for the victim's Microsoft-issued work computer. The computer is an Apple MacBook, blah, blah, blah. Da-da-da. Okay, here's some more redactions. Okay, here's some more reports. 120. That's a problem. How do we go from 58 to 120? We're missing a bunch. We are missing a bunch. Not good. Missing a bunch. I don't know what was in there. Let's see. What are we on here? 58. 60. 61. Marcy saw. I don't know. Missing 60 pages. 60 supplements, not 60 pages, 60 supplements. Okay, so now we jump to October. We were at February, so there's a whole chunk missing. A green camo all-weather jacket. Oh, this is Thompson Hawkins, whoever that is. Brown tan leather welder style jacket. Evidence. Tan black boots. Cool pad cell phone. Another welder jacket. A blue cell phone. I don't know why it's duped. Motorist cell phone. Oh, I don't know. Zip up hoodie. Control swab. Swab jacket. Home Depot receipt. Open mail. Henry Tenen. It's looking like someone's maybe got a search warrant or arrest warrant maybe. They're taking all this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Closed mail addressed to Henry Tenen. Capital One. Mail. Room A. Bedroom. Sounds like a search warrant. Could be wrong. Toshiba laptop. Dell laptop. ZTE cell phone. Flip cell phone. Marijuana. Belgian Bulldog revolver, caliber .320. Perfecta 380 ammo 50 cartridges. Room labels. CD of photographs. Bank statements. Missile papers. Rental agreement. 5-star receipt. Papers. THC vapes. Bong from Save. THC cartridges. Found a backpack. Weed. DNA swab. Boot swab. Toe swab. Boot toe swab. Boot heel swab. Left boot swab. Cool pad swab of ear. It says here. Cool pad back button. Phone buttons. Screen. Control swab. Right boot tongue. Okay. So it looks like in all that mess, we're missing their PC to get the search warrant. Maybe that's why they took that out of there. On 10/6/2022, I responded to 5239 Potomac Avenue, Jacksonville for an evidence technician in reference to a search warrant. Upon my arrival after the residence was cleared, I walked through the residence prior to taking photographs. In the driveway was a red two-door convertible with Florida tag blank and a black truck with blank. To the left of the garage was a small entryway. Once I entered through the entryway, I entered the front door, which opened up to a living room area with dark colored leather type sectional couch. To the left was a small hallway that had 2 bedrooms, linen closet, and bathroom. The door to the left was a bedroom labeled room A. The next door was a linen closet. The next door was a bedroom labeled room B. And the last door was a bathroom, also labeled room B. I exit the small hallway back into the living room. I walked into another living room, which contained a gray couch, television, and stand boxes, marijuana, pipe, beer cans, and other items. This opened up to the kitchen. Both living rooms and the kitchen were labeled Room C. To the right of the kitchen opened up to a laundry area with washer and dryer. This room had a door that gave access to the backyard and a separate door to the garage. This room was labeled D. There was a small hallway that led to the bathroom and bedroom. The bathroom and bedroom were labeled Room E. The garage was labeled Room F. I took overall photographs of the outside, except the backyard, due to an aggressive dog currently located in the backyard. After completing my overall photographs, I used the Oscars 360 to capture the overall photographs of the outside and inside. Once my overall photographs were taken, I labeled the rooms using A through F. Each officer that searched the assigned room signed the label for the room and has been placed into property. All items collected were photographed prior to being collected. The bong, Room A, 6 THC vape cartridges, Room A, vapes with cartridges, Room A, 2 vape cartridges, car, marijuana car, given to Jacksonville Sheriff's Officer K. Graham with CPR unit for pending charges. I don't know if there were kids in the house or something, like who knows. Evidence number 266, a dark blue Motorola cell phone was given to Corporal Y. Santiago, that must be R. Ebon, after I transported it to the Jacks Beach Police Department. I took additional photographs of most of the items prior to submitting it to property. I completed a control swab and took a swab from the brown zip-up hoodie jacket. Did we see that? I don't remember that. All items collected were placed into the evidence technician room and sealed until 10/7/2022. I conducted a field test of the marijuana in the residence. Or residence? Like, which both tested presumptive positive. I weighed the marijuana and took photographs. The following are the items collected from each room, blah, blah, blah. On 10/7/2022, I completed a control swab. I swabbed the cool pad, cell phone, and brown boots. Papers were reviewed by Detective C. Johns, and I photographed certain papers instructed by Detective Johns. I also received the property I released to JSO Officer Graham. Detective Johns returned the property to me, which I placed into property as evidence. It should be noted, prior to handling all evidence, I changed my gloves each time because you don't want cross-contamination. Here's the green camo all-weather jacket, size small, Room F garage. Brown tan leather welder style jacket, Room F garage. Tan black boots, cool pad cell phone. We got the welder style jacket again, blue cell phone, Motorola cell phone, control swab, swab a jacket, Jack's Beats Home Depot, open mail addressed to Henry Tenen, we saw that, closed mail addressed to Henry Tenen, Toshiba laptop. Is that the same one? 273. Yep. Weird. Dell laptop. ZT touchscreen cell phone. Flip phone. Marijuana. Let's go stop marijuana. Bulldog revolver. We saw these. Perfecta ammo. Room labels. CDs. Bank statements. Miscellaneous papers, rental agreement, 5-star receipt, papers, vapes, bong, THC, marijuana, control swab, right boot ankle swab, right boot toe swab, right boot heel swab, left boot swab, cool pad swab of ear, swab cool pad back button. Maybe it means the ear, where you put the headphones in, I don't know. Phone buttons, screen, control swab, right boot tongue, dark blue Motorola cell phone. Okay. On Thursday, October 6, 2022, at approximately 09:18 hours, I responded to blah, blah, blah to assist with the search warrant. I assisted by searching Room A. I transported property item 266, blue Motorola, to the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit and gave it to Detective Lamont at approximately 15:43 hours. They were there a long time. At approximately 16:15 hours, Detective Lamont requested I take it to the JSO computer forensic unit along with a consent to search form signed by Jeremy Ordway. I dropped the phone off at approximately 16:35 hours. Maybe Ordway is a roommate. I don't know. Dark blue Motorola cell phone. Went to JSO forensics unit. Okay, we got a new one. Detective Lamont. We've got some people here. A lot of people. Unknown keys from Henry Tennant's former vehicle, financial document, former vehicle. It says something here. Cell search consent, Jeremy Ordway. Constitutional rights, Ordway. It might be a Miranda card. I don't know who he is. Vehicle search consent from Sean Tucker. Audio interview from Norma Davila. Audio interview. Devin Hightower. Audio interview. Dane Hade. Vehicle. Okay, there's the forms. Okay, let's see what happened. On Wednesday, October 5th, 2022, at approximately 1200 hours, the search warrant for Henry Tennant's and Jeremy Ordway's residence located the search warrant was conducted for individuals who were found present in the residence. Jeremy Ordway, Norman Davila, Devin Hightower, and Dane Hade were found in the residence. While the residence was searched, I conducted recorded interviews on scene with Davila, Hightower, and Hade. Here's Norma Davila's. At approximately 10:09 hours, the interview with Davila was conducted on scene in the back of an unmarked patrol car. Also present for the interview was ATF Special Agent A. Simmons. Davila voluntarily conducted the interview. Who's doing this interviewing? Lamont. Why isn't John's doing it? Davila began the interviewing. Typos. Describing how she came to live at the residence. Davila advised about a month and a half ago, which would have been August, mid-August, Jeremy Ordway rented Tennant's former room to her and her husband. Davila advised her husband's name was Dane Hade. Davila stated she originally met Ordway at Domino's where they all work. Davila stated Devin Hightower was also present, was currently living in his truck, which was parked in the driveway. Davila went on to explain she heard Tennant, Ordway's former roommate, was currently in jail in reference to a murder in Jacksonville Beach. Davila named Tennant as Henry, which she heard from Ordway. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out as we go along. Davila went on to explain Ordway sold Tennant's car to their general manager, Sean Tucker. Davila advised Ordway was not sure if Tennant was going to get out of jail because of the investigation. Davila went on to explain when she moved into the room, there was nothing in the room but some underwear. Davila advised she heard Ordway say he moved Tennant's belongings out of the room. Davila stated there was a bunch of stuff in the garage, but she was unsure if they belonged to Tennant. Davila advised an individual named, quote, Mario, end quote, owned the house and he was selling the house. Davila stated he was selling it to get money. If this is our defendant, Mario, right, alleged, not guilty, just saying, needed money. Motive? Alleged motive? Davila stated she has talked to Mario several times while he was here working on the house. Davila went on to explain she felt Ordway has something on their landlord. Davila described a situation where Mario came to the house to get Ordway to sign a lease. Ordway did not want to sign the lease. Davila advised Ordway stated, quote, he don't want me to call such about something, end quote. Davila did not know if this comment had anything to do with this murder. It's getting interesting, isn't it? Davila went on to explain Ordway tore the lease up when Saldana gave it to him. Davila advised this interaction with Saldana occurred in the second week of September. Davila advised she had been in talks with Saldana with a rent-to-own agreement with Saldana for the Potomac Avenue address. Davila went on to explain potential buyers for the house have visited the property over the last couple weeks. Davila states she does not know of any firearms in the house. Wasn't there a 380? Davila's husband asked Ordway about guns in the house. Ordway stated the house was protected, but didn't mention any specific firearms. Davila was asked to further describe the incident where Ordway tore the lease agreement up. Davila stated her husband described Saldana as being afraid of Ordway. Davila could not describe any specifics as to why Saldana was afraid of Ordway. Davila was asked if she knew what Tenon was involved in. Ordway mentioned Tenon was involved in the Jacksonville Beach murder investigation. Ordway mentioned he believed Tenon would not be involved in this murder. Davila advised Ordway never mentioned going to Jacksonville Beach. Davila stated she has never seen Ordway leave Potomac with Saldana. Davila advised she never heard anyone mention Tenon's blue Ford F-150. Davila went on to explain the general manager of Domino's purchased the Crown Victoria Tenon was driving. The general manager advised there was stuff belonging to Tenon in the vehicle. The general manager advised he was going to bring the belongings by Potomac. End of interview. All right, here's Devin. At approximately 10:39 hours, the interview with Hightower was conducted on scene in the back of an unmarked patrol car. Also present was ATF Special Agent Stengel. Hightower voluntarily conducted the interview. Hightower advised he had been living in his truck for the last 3 weeks. Hightower stated he has been staying in his truck in the driveway for the last couple of days. Ordway allowed Hightower to park his truck in the driveway. Hightower described Ordway as an alcoholic and an undercover racist. Hightower stated Ordway makes comments trying to make Dane Haight angry because he is an African American. Hightower advised the first time he heard anything about a murder investigation was the morning of the search warrant. Hightower advised he has not heard Ordway speak about any involvement with this murder investigation. Hightower advised he has never seen anyone going through the belongings in the garage. Interview with Dane Haight. At approximately 10:56 hours, the interview with Haight was conducted on scene in the back of a marked patrol car. Also present for the interview was ATF Special Agent M. Stengel. Haight voluntarily conducted the interview. Haight advised he has been living at the residence for about a month. Haight advised Saldana has not been to the house in the last 2 weeks. Had was asked about the incident involving Ordway and Saldana with the lease. Haight advised Ordway did tear up the lease agreement Saldana brought over. Haight stated he did not know anything further about the lease situation. Haight advised he has no knowledge of Tenon or his involvement in this murder investigation. Haight stated when he moved into Tenon's room, there was only a bed in the room. So we got someone says there's a bed and someone says there's some underwear. Haight advised the left side of the garage contained his items and the right side could possibly be Tenon's. Haight further stated he did not have any knowledge of the murder investigation. End of interview. Jeremy Ordway's interview will be a future supplement. Okay, so we got some unknown keys recovered from Henry Tenon's former vehicle. We got a financial document from Henry Tenon's former vehicle. I'm assuming that's the Crown Vic. Self-search consent from Jeremy Ordway. Constitutional rights, Ordway. Vehicle search consent, Sean Tucker. That's got to be the Crown Vic, right? I'm getting all these people confused. Audio interview, Norma Davila. Audio interview, Devin Hightower. Audio interview, Dane Haight. All right, now we have razor blade used to take samples from the shoes. Something says ET door, boots. Boots, 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 boots. Oh, who is this? Thompson Hawkins. Okay. On 10/10/2022 at 9:33 hours, I went to Jack's Beach property room to process the tan black boots. Prior to opening the bag, I photographed the bag and the seal that was on it. After opening the bag, I removed both boots, used a sterile razor blade, and labeled 3 pieces from both boots. Each piece, I used a new field test kit to test for possibility of blood. The results were negative. After testing each piece, I changed my gloves, relabeled the area, documented with photograph. I placed the boots back in the original package, sealed it up, All right, now we have Chris Johns, our detective, Ordway phone receipt. Friday, October 7th, he met with Jeremy Ordway. Well, it says while with Jeremy Ordway, his cell phone was returned to him. He signed a property sheet indicating receipt. Okay. Thompson Hawkins, that looks like, is that 130 or 120? Phone returned to owner. I guess that's all he had to write on. Thompson Hawkins. On 10/13/2022 at approximately 12:55 hours, I went to the Jacks Beach property room at 1460 Shutter Avenue to process property item number 17, a beer can. I think that's one from the scene. I requested the property item after removing it from its original package. I observed the can had already been processed. I placed the item back in its original package, sealed the package, and dated the package along with my ID number and initials. Chris Johns. Jim Clay Jones. Whatever that is. 2004 Ford truck. Search warrant. PNC bank return. Okay. On Friday, October 14, 2022, at approximately 1600 hours, financial records were received for Henry A. Tennant. A review of the records found Tennant paid for auto transport on 6/8/2022. A review of the phone records found Tennant communicating with Rivers Auto Transport on 6/7/2022. Cellular location data was compared to the date and time the truck was transported. The cellular location data identified 1705 University Street in Jacksonville, Florida as a possible location. ATF Special Agent Simmons drove to the address to inspect further. Upon arrival, Special Agent Simmons found Tennant's blue 2004 F-150 bearing Georgia TLW 242. The vehicle was located in the back of the yard, which is not fenced in. The truck and tag could clearly be seen from the street. Detective J. Lamont obtained a search warrant for the premises where the truck was located. A copy of the warrant was given to the resident, Jimmy Clay Jones. Mr. Jones provided verbal consent for officers to search his yard and remove the Ford F-150. Okay, so I guess what I'm guessing is the truck is missing. And he said, or he didn't say, Mr. Tennant, where the truck went. So they searched his records. Maybe this was after he was arrested. And found this tow to this house. And so then, they pulled the cell. Oh, so he must have drove it. Wow. Cellular location data. I don't know whose cellular location data. The tow truck drivers? I'd like to read that. Okay. Mr. Jones stated he and Tennant have been friends between 10 and 15 years. He stated Tennant would regularly come to his residence with beer and they would hang out and drink. He denied knowing Fernandez, Ordway, or Biggerstaff. We've heard that Biggerstaff name before. Jones stated a few months ago, Tennant asked him if he could store his truck for a couple months until he could get enough money to get it fixed. Jones agreed, and Tennant picked him up in the white Crown Victoria. They drove to an unknown location where Tennant drove the truck, and Jones followed him in the Crown Vic. So I guess it wasn't that broken. I don't know. He stated the truck broke down on his street, so they used the Crown Vic to push the truck into Jones' yard. Jones stated he attempted to call Tennant several times to get him to remove the truck, but the calls keep going to voicemail. Maybe because he's arrested? I don't know. The truck was photographed in place and sealed before being towed to the JPPD property room so that it could be processed for evidence related to homicide. A further review of Tennant's PNC checking statements revealed he received 3 checks from First Choice Home Rentals, LLC, which is owned by Mario Fernandez Saldana and Shannon Gardner. Check 0027 for $2,000, check 0028 for $3,000, were dated 3/28/22, and check 0029 for $5,000, dated 4/4/22. If that's true, is that the sum of a life? 10,000 of a father, of a husband, We don't know. Innocent until proven guilty. Thompson Hawkins. Photo log. On 10/14/22, I responded to 1705 University Street for an evidence tech. Met with Detective Johns and Detective Lamont. This is about the Ford F-150. Appeared to have been there for some time, due to the grass being higher around the tires and under the truck. I photographed the truck in place, the outside of the residence, sealed the truck, photographed the truck once it was removed by the tow truck. It should be noted the vehicle appeared to be locked. No entry was made. I looked around the truck, in the bed of the truck, and through the windows. The truck appeared to have some front bumper damage. ... 2 different models of tires, a beer can, kitchen knife, and other items in the bed of the truck. Inside appeared to have some tools in the back and a shoe box for steel toe boots. When the tow truck arrived, the driver did not enter the truck. Once the truck was removed, it was dark outside and photographs were taken where the truck was located in the yard. The truck was taken back to the Jacks Beach Police Department property. Detective Lamont, Detective Burrell placed the tarp, hopefully it's clean, over the vehicle until it was ready to be processed on Monday, 10/17/2022. All photographs that were taken will be placed on a disc and submitted to property as evidence. Okay, we are going to stop there. It's getting good. We're getting more information. Now we have this blue F-150. So is this, well, it says blue and tan. Is this the truck that was seen up north on the Shedder Drive? We don't know. Where was it seen? Okay, so now we're going to have to correlate exactly what happened here if this is the truck. Okay, we've got some swabs, remember, on the tires. We've got some video of like a shadow person, okay? And we've got some outstanding, not good outstanding, but not returned yet, Geofence warrant stuff. Remember, in one, we got 3 device IDs waiting for identification, and we also have the 20 minutes prior thing. All right, so we'll find out what happens with that. Hopefully you find this interesting. Again, I really would appreciate it if you enjoy this stuff. I would love to hear your comments below. We don't take sides. We're just looking at it from, I've been on both sides of the equation as a paralegal, as a police officer, in court, testifying, and I just love the law. I'd love to see how this is going to present, how it's going to come out, and what we can learn from these cases, how we can do better and arrive at justice. Okay, and I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you find this interesting too. Let me know what cases you want to see. And if you would please consider subscribing, I really would appreciate it because it helps me do more for you and so many. Thank you, and I will see you on the next one.